Welcome to my lecture on how to add binary. Yesterday we covered how we convert binary from decimal to binary and from binary to decimal. And you will recall that the binary place values look like what they do over here. And we're going to use those today. Before I forget, if you are not already a subscriber, consider pressing subscription down there so that I can become a part of your support structure in maths. I do daily videos and I'd like to help you as well. Right, let's get started. So what we have here on this end is we have a binary addition. Okay, we have binary number 111 and binary number 101 that need to be added. So the rules that we have here is that if we looked at 111, it would be written down here as one, sorry, not like that. Let's just go one more further on, 111. Okay, so the value of that would be a 4 plus a 2 plus a 1. So then in other words, the value here would be 7 for that number there. Okay, that binary number is worth 7 in our decimal system. And the other one, if we had to write it down here under the values, would be 101 under our binary place value column headings. So that would be the same as a 4 plus a 1. So that would be the same as 5. Okay. Now we know 7 plus 5 comes to 12. So then if all works well with our binary addition over here, our answer here should convert to 12. So let's have a look. The first step is we're going to look at what we want to reach. We want to reach this equivalent of that line is 7, as we've just looked at. It's all those numbers added up. That's what we did down here. Okay, and the next line is going to come to 5, because that's what that is if we put it back down here again as a binary converted to decimal. So 7 plus 5 is 12. So we need to know that the two answers are going to both be equal to 12. This one will be written in binary form and that one will be written in decimal form. Right, so let's look at it. The first thing we do is we start on this column just like we do, and then we do onto that column and that, exactly like we do with regular addition. So this column here is 1 plus 1. Now 1 plus 1 in decimal is 2. So how do we represent 2 down here under our binary headings? There's the 2 and it's the 0, 1. So it's 1, 2 and 0, 1s. So that 10 that is represented here needs to be put into our answer. So we're going to write the 0 here. Let me first just erase what's down there, sorry. Okay, so the 10 we found over here, we're going to write over here as a 0, and we're going to carry the 1. Okay, so just to recap, this 1 plus this 1 comes to 2, and in binary 2 is 1, 0, so we wrote the 0 down, we carried the 1. Now we're busy with the middle column. We've got 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 0. So once again, we've got a 2, and we know a 2 in binary, like we've just done, is 1, 0. Okay? So we're going to write down the 0 and carry the 1. Write down the 0, carry the 1 to the next column. Now we have 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So how do we represent that down here in our binary headings? 3 would be 1, 2 plus 1, 1. So it's 1, 1. And that's what we're going to go right here. 1, 1. Okay, now let's add these up. We've got 0. Well, let's start over here. 0, because that would be like this over here. Let's just rub out here underneath. I'm going to show you how we add up this based on working it out down here. Okay, so let's go write that number in there. It's 0, 0, 1, 1. That's our answer up here. Okay, we're going to convert it back into what the value is in decimals. So it's basically going to be 1, 8. So we can write an 8 here. Plus 1, 4. Plus 0, 2s plus 0, 1s. And we know 8 plus 4 comes to 12. Ha ha, do you see? 7 plus 5, going this way down, is equal to 12. So our decimal one did come to that when we worked it out once we converted. And our answer that is here in our binary also comes to 12 once we bring it back into decimal again. So this answer is correct. Okay, let's do one more. I'm sure you might be a little bit confused, but if you do one more in practice, you should understand it better. So here we have binary number 111 plus 111. Okay, so let's first decide what 111 is worth in decimals. It's worth, well, let's come put it down here, 111. So it's a 4 plus a 2. So you can see the 4 here for that one is there, plus the 2 that's there, plus the 1 that's there. Okay? Right, so those are going to be added up together. And we are going to come to, let me just clean up a bit, 7. So we know the value of this binary number here is the value of 7 in our decimals. Okay. Now we know the same will be true of the next number because it's the exact same number. And it's also going to come to 7. So our answer that we want to come to on that line, once we've added up our binary, should come to 14 because this is going to be 14. 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay. So let's go work with that. Let's go work with our binary, remembering our rules. So we're going to write, we always start with the first column. Let me just quickly clean up there. We start with the first column. So we're going to add 1 plus 1. Now 1 plus 1 is 2. And remember how we represent that down here in our binary columns? It's 1, 2, and 0, 1. So it's basically 1, 0. We write the 0 down and we carry the 1 to the next column. Okay. Now we've got 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. How do we represent 3 down here in our binary columns? It's a 1 of a 2 and a 1 of the 1. So it's 11 basically. So we're going to write down 1, carry a 1. And again we have 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And we know down here 3 is represented by 1, 2 and 1, 1. So we write the full 11 in the front here. Now let's convert it back here into decimal and see if we come up with 14, which is the answer we want in both of them. Okay, so let's just see if that binary is actually worth 14. Then we'll know we came to the right answer. So we have an 8 plus a 4 plus a 2 plus a 0. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 0 is still 14. Correct. We have come to the right answer. If you are finding yourself confused, please watch this lecture over and over. What you have to remember is to keep coming to look at your binary place value headings and putting those numbers in here and figuring out what the answers are going to be represented as when you do your binary addition. Okay. So please follow my page. If you aren't already doing so, press the button here at the bottom so that I can become a part of your support structure. See you in binary subtraction tomorrow.